Hey guys, so we're going to be doing a review on the TVP T5051. Now this isn't going to be a super long review. I'm going to go over it in the garage and I'm going to show you a game in it on how I play it and then maybe convince you if you're a medium tank driver and don't have it, why you should own it, and if you're not a medium tank driver at all and you want to get into having one, why this should be your first one. So, also, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this, I highly appreciate it if you did subscribe and stick around because I have 104 vehicles in my garage. And yes, I have done tank reviews before, but we have a lot to go over and it's going to take me a long time to do 104 tank reviews. So you might as well stick around and watch me do it. So, first of all, what is the TVP T5051? Well, it is a light tank in a medium tank's disguise. Well, it's super quick, 1000 horsepower, 4-round autoloader, shoots very quickly, relatively accurate, and can punish enemies if they are broadside or lightly armored or let this tank completely flank them. It's amazing. So I made a video on the tier 9 beforehand when I got it fully upgraded and I did not realize how good it was going to be, and that was the first time that I played it fully upgraded, and that's the closest that you're going to get to how the tier 10 is without owning the tier 10. So with this gun that is on it, it is a 100mm gun. There's the stats for the engine, the traverse speed, the turret, the view range is 410, signal range 850. Well, so the gun, yes, it's only a 100mm gun, very similar to the same caliber guns that the Russians are using. Just over 6.6 rounds per minute. It holds 4 shots, and its reload is like 8 seconds. We'll look at it here in a second. Penetration, 248, pretty low for a tier 10 medium tank. 310 for the premium, still fairly low for a tier 10 medium tank. And 50 on the high explosives. Now, I would not be firing high explosives out of this tank for any reason whatsoever unless you're fighting an entire team of Waffen E100s, because it is not a good idea to be trying to be like, oh, I'm going to run into the Waffentrager, let me just load HE, because it is a very big decision to do that, because you're going to load all 4 shots. The aiming time is 2.1, and the accuracy is 0.35. Not the worst, not the best. It is usable and doable. Now, I have never actually really needed to use the premium rounds while I'm playing this thing, because I try to work myself around and flank the enemies and try to be pretty just trying to be pretty out of the way so I can get around people or whatever the case may be before I have to switch over and start firing premium rounds. And I don't mean that I'm never going to use them. Yes, 248 pin is not the best, but I have more times than not where I make it work rather than having to switch over and use 310 off of my heat round. So we're going to go into this and I'm going to show you. So the top speed 60 kilometers an hour, top reverse speed 20 and 1000 horsepower. The gun is right here. Reload time 21 seconds, well all 31 seconds, but I have perks and the such to make it a little bit faster, and you'll see that in the replay. You can also put other equipment on it to make it go a little bit faster as well. But shots per clip 4 and interclip reload is 1.71 in between shots. You can dump this entire 4 rounds very quickly, and it would be about 6 seconds and you have dumped every single round out, and you can scurry away before they start firing back at you. So with the ammunition as well, the APCR rounds is what it shoots standard. 1400 meters per second, pretty good, fairly fast, and the heat rounds are pretty slow at 900. Now that's not super slow, but that is a lot slower that's 500 meters a second slower than its APCRs. So anyways, let's look at the tech tree really quick, and I'm only going to really talk about the tier 8 to 10, because in my eyes, everything from tier 7 and below is just kind of eh. I mean, I can go over them a little bit. They're basically like the tier 5 and 6 are almost the same damn tank, just with very varying little things about them that changes how they actually act. This one has an autoloader, um, and is a fairly decent tier 6. The tier 7 is basically a T-34-85 that has been up tiered to tier 7 and can get his hands on a 100 millimeter gun. I don't really remember playing it that much because it's been so long ago, but what I'm going to focus on is tier 8 and 9 right here, and the TVP VTU will get an 88 at the very beginning of tier 7 88, then it'll get the same 100 millimeter gun off of the tier 7 with 175 pin. We'll bump that up to an 88. It shoots fairly quickly, pretty good aim time, and fairly accurate. Now you can keep this gun on there and get the final package for it to get the upgraded engine, or you can get the 105, which was what I did for the 320 alpha damage, and use that. Now the accuracy and the aim time is kind of not good, kind of bad, but I dealt with it until I got to tier 9, and then when I got to tier 9, none of these guns. Now this could, if you didn't know this, there's only one gun on the tier 9 that is a autoloader. Not every gun that is on the tier 9 Skoda is an autoloader when it gets it. The stock one is trash. It is a garbage gun, but it's sort of usable, and it's definitely not an autoloader. And the R11 gun, which is a little bit better, a lot more usable at a tier 9, 230 pin and 269 on the premium rounds, is a extremely long gun. It's really long, but it's still not an autoloader. And then the final package that you get on it is going to be the AK-1 gun, which is the autoloader, but you only get 3 shots instead of 4 as you do on the tier 10. So fully upgraded, a Skoda T50 is just as dangerous in a tier 9 and tier 10 game as the Skoda, or not Skoda, but the TVP T5051 is, because it is essentially almost the same tank, just the TVP T5051 has 4 shots and is a little bit more maneuverable than the tier 9, but they are both very good tanks in their own tier. So we'll get right into the game, and I will talk a little bit more about it. Alright, so here is the game on Sand River. Cut off the whole loading screen and the beginning of the match to make this tank review go a little bit faster. So it is just me, a Udez, a Sheridan, and an E50M pushing up this left side. We are attacking, they are defending. So, like I was saying, this tank can flank and get around and get out of positions fairly quickly. Yes, it's not a small, low profile tank. It is fairly large, but can make up for it for being pretty fast and having a pretty reliable gun also. So also the lag is going to be stupid this game, and you're going to see it. Like, it was one of the things I brought up in my Operation Overhaul video. Uh it's just ridiculous in this game, and it happens at some of the worst times too during this game. And I bet that you won't be able to count on both hands how many times that bar up there says it drops down to 1. Like, it's pretty bad. Like, the amount of jitters and random shit that happens during this game. You're getting ready to see probably one of the worst ones happen on this Leopard 1 that's going to come out in front of me and the other 2 guys. And I think I'm getting ready to fire 2 shots. Just wait 1 second, because there's the Leopard 1. And I shoot at the T-54 lightweight here in a second. Now, the 1400 meters a second round that this tank fires, you can lead tanks fairly well with this, and you won't have to aim that far in front of them like that. Got one into him, so I got 2 shots left. All right, here comes the Leopard 1. I want you to tell me how many times the gun goes off. All right, so I'm getting ready to pull up, and yeah, evidently I shot fucking twice right there, but I don't remember actually pulling the trigger twice or holding it down. I just went over the hill and tapped it once. I mean, I know I tapped it once. Somehow I shot twice, and I don't know where they went. Evidently they didn't hit him. So anyways, the E50M and the Sheridan go around the corner on this IS-7, and I'm about to be reloaded. And there it goes, dropping all the way back down. And now I'm back up to 5 bars. So 29.06 seconds. I don't have any equipment on this vehicle during this game, but I would be running gun stabilizer, vents, and gun lane drive on this vehicle. And so I put those into him right there, and the lag is also fucking with me right there too. The Sheridan's dead. Now, there's nothing else I can do for this E50M. I don't really want to sit there and keep getting shot. He has gotten himself pinned by that IS-7, and I need to reload. So there's the M60, and there's a 4202 shooting at me. I'm at half health right now, and I get right up here, and right there, the 4202 hits me, but doesn't really keep shooting there. If he'd kept shooting there, he could have perma-tracked me or something, but he didn't. And I don't know if it's because my guy's putting pressure on them in the middle or what, but 4202 is moving, and I smack one right into his side. One thing that I do like to do, though, if I'm not going to immediately fire at somebody or getting ready to have to use rounds after I fire one or two out, I will always reload and try to maintain 4 shots in the autoloader to make sure that I am the most capable in any kind of situation that might happen, because I don't want to be running around with 1 shot or 2 shots in my autoloader. A guy come around that I know that I could have killed if I'd have just had a little bit more. If I hadn't had 2 rounds, if I had all four, I could have killed him. So long shots on the IS-4. See, some people would have already switched over to heat to try to do that, but there's no point. 248 pin broadside IS-4. Yeah, it could have bounced, it could have not, but 1 out of the 3 bounced, and I ended up killing him. So we're gonna move on up. I know the IS-7 is still sitting there, and there's some other tanks sitting over there as well. The M60's moved over. The T-54 lightweight, I believe that's what that was, moved over as well. We have a 1 heavy tank going towards our spawn right now. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but we have a tank destroyer sitting up there too, and that is an E4. So I'm getting slightly ballsy in this tank. I mean, if you can time the shots between where your team fires or they fire or something along those lines, like you try to get in between people's shots, you can. If the reload's long enough, you can shoot all 4 before a vehicle reloads, and you can back up before they can have the chance to fire. If you know the tanks that you're fighting, you could possibly, if it's, I don't know, if it's like a E100, for instance, you can just straight up go ahead and dump all 4 and reload, come back, bait him to shoot another one, and get another 4 shots into him. And then I get hit by the FV3805. So I thought I was going to get killed by the artillery, as I figured he was going to shoot. Now I'm left on 238 health. I would not want to get hit by any of them. Like, even the tier 8 could kill me at this point if he splashes near me, but Super Conqueror's sitting down here in this hole. I'm getting ready to reload. They get one into him, but I really don't want to keep this going on for too long and me sitting on the side of this hill because of the artillery looking over here. So at 3,000 damage and 2 kills, and I'm reloading again. So the only time that I would really load heat is if I ran out of normal rounds. I mean, I could have taken less. I could have only took 8 shots instead of 16, but I just wanted to balance them out to see. Sometimes I was running into vehicles where I would consider it or whatever the case may be, but turns out most of the time I don't really need them. So I'm probably going to knock that back down to maybe 8 rounds instead of 16, and not have to worry about running out of standard rounds in it, period. So that'd be one way to make sure that I don't. So 4 tanks left, tank destroyer, and 3 heavy tanks. And this tank has pretty good acceleration. I also forgot to mention that this tank has pretty good acceleration in maintaining its top speed. You don't really need to worry about having that problem like the IS-7. Yes, the IS-7 is the example that I'm going to use because it has a high top speed, but due to terrain resistance, it does not maintain it or get to it very often unless it's going downhill. So T-57 Heavy made a terrible mistake and drove out there in the open, and I dumped all 4 into his side, making him a very easy target for our team. And T-92 kills him, and a Rheinmetall Panzerwagen kills the T-110E4. So all that is left is a 705A and a Chieftain. So I have 1400 assisted damage and sitting on 4500 damage done so far. So if this was going to be your first medium tank, I would get, if you're a heavy tank player, I would get used to not having a whole lot of armor. I would get used to going a lot faster and get used to playing this tank more like a light tank rather than something like the Patton, for instance. If you are a Batchat player and you have not considered this vehicle before, uh, it's going to be sort of similar. You're just going to be in a, it's like, I don't want to say Lorraine 40T because this tank is so much better than the Lorraine, but it's a little bit smaller than the Lorraine, I think. I haven't compared the sizes between the two, but overall the Batchat's way smaller than this, so I'm trying to give you a better idea. So you're gonna have 4 shots instead of, I forgot the Batchat. I think the Batchat has 5 out of its 105. You're gonna have a more reliable gun, as in the accuracy is going to be better and the aim time is going to be better. But you're going to be a little bit bigger, but you're still going to be flexible and maneuverable and everything. So out of every other medium tank that I've owned, this one seems the most. If I'm going to play one that's going to be faster and flank a little bit better, I'm going to choose this one over the Batchat. But that's just me. So anyway, 6,500 damage done, 1,400 assisted, and a high caliber. So guys, I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to see another review on another tank, let me know. But anyways, guys, I will see y'all later.